Thanks.
Thank you. So let's go back to Councillor Gibson. We were mostly able to hear you, Councillor Gibson, so hopefully this will work fine. Go ahead, please.
Thanks. I actually think the delay was at my end, so thanks for that. So I want to just pause and paint a picture here for a second, because it's unfortunate. It is an impediment to this bylaw. And I think what we are witnessing is a bit of a tale of two parallel but different cities. So I just want to go through some data that the staff provided with us back in 2018 before we paused enforcement on enforcing this bylaw on R2 and R3B style homes. I'm just going to read it to you real quick. But in terms of charges against the property of the owner, in Ward 1, in terms of R2 zoned homes, we had two charges laid over between 16 and 18. In Ward 2, we had 30 charges laid. That is people going to court over the bylaw issue. In Ward 3, we had 0. In Ward 4, we had 59 charges laid, as in taking people to court. In Ward 5, we had 2. And in Ward 6, we had 3. Similarly, in R3B style homes, between 16 and 18, we had 30 charges laid in Ward 1. We had 7 charges laid in Ward 2. We had 0 charges laid in Ward 3. We had 22 charges laid in Ward 4, 0 charges laid in Ward 5, and 8 charges laid in Ward 6. I only say that because for the vast majority of the housing types in Ward 3 and 5, which I read had literally no charges against R2 or R3B zoned homes in those wards, they are predominantly represented by RB1 style homes, single detached homes. That is the vast majority, like outsized number of homes in those wards are single detached homes. Where this bylaw is most punitive is in wards where townhome and semi-detached homes are the most prevalent. And this is what we're hearing again on council, where we have it's not a disconnection, it's a different lived reality, where we have councillors who are not seeing this as an issue in their ward, and you are seeing councillors who are speaking on behalf of the sort of the cruxes that they see in the neighborhoods that we live in. And again, it's not a slight or a negative aspect. It is an impediment to the bylaw, balancing it between the wards. And again, I've said this from the beginning. I have backed away from the widening of a driveway in the RB1 style home, the single attached homes, because I know that it will negatively impact Ward 5 and Ward 3. This is a Ward 1, 2, 4, and 6 issue when it comes to the R2 and R3B homes. Secondly, and I'll offer this in terms of mitigation, back in 2018 and again in 2019, Council voted to pause enforcement on the R2 and R3 style homes, so townhomes and semi-homes in our city, with conditions. And I think this is a very important piece to this conversation. We placed in very specific mitigations, that no driveway would be wider than 5 meters, that there would be no negative impact on lot drainage. And that was discussed by the city. The city was allowed to come out and tell the residents that driveway is not allowed because it affects lot drainage. No hard surfaces shall be located closer to 1.5 meters setback from municipally owned tree, so you have to be fully back from a tree. That the remaining front yard, excepting the driveway, shall not be landscaped, so parking could be allowed on the rest of the driveway. There would be no additional parking. That the boulevard, the curb cut, and I've heard this a few times tonight, that the curb cut would not be expanded beyond 3.5 meters. That's another mitigation that we put in place back in 18 to satisfy the concern around costs with curb cuts. And that finally, that no city-owned shutoff valve located within the portion of the driveway would be impacted. So it's a bit of revisionist history, but we spent an awful lot of time developing mitigations to account for the relaxation of the enforcement on these bylaws. And I'm happy to, because staff provided me with these stats yesterday, I'm happy to go over the charges and the impact it's had on our community since. So since 2018, we've had 7 charges laid.
Sorry, can you do it quickly? Because I know some of your
of course, no problem. Since 2018, since we relaxed the enforcement bylaw, we've had 6 notifications or 7 notifications handed out across Ward 1 and Ward 2, and 6 of those 7 met the mitigation measures that we put in place in 2018. And so it didn't result in that family going to court. So I'm only saying this because I feel like I have to continue to go back to the well, but this is a tale of two cities. Ward 3 and Ward 5 are largely unimpacted by the R2 and R3B home. I know I've been on Cole Road, everyone, so I've heard this before. I've been on Cole Road. Those are 90-foot long driveways. But in Ward 1, 2, 4, and 6, this is a real issue. And we put in mitigation measures, and it seems to have worked for 2+ years. And so I've stated my impediments, and I've stated my mitigation, and I haven't changed my opinion on this. This is where we're at still as a council, and that's fine. It's good debate.
Thank you, Councillor. Next up is Councillor